Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Andrew's Awesome Carcast. I, as always, am Andrew Francis, and it's a rough day today, a little bit. So, you know, felt like getting on, talking about it a little bit. Now, the general theme of this podcast is going to be just shitty people in general. I'll get more detail into it in a moment here. Hang on. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah, as you know, I record this while driving, so you know, got to make sure we're driving safe here and whatnot. So yeah, so just to start it off, you know, not the greatest day at work. It happens though, I'm pretty used to that. But yeah, so without naming any names or anything like that, because I don't want to get myself or anyone else in any trouble really. The primary problem I had today was that people don't complete their work. See, part of my job is I look at a lot of forms, documents, papers all day, and again, trying to figure out how to phrase this so as not to give anything away. Most of you who watch this probably already know what I do and can math this out pretty simply, but still, I just don't want to straight give it away just in case me or anyone else could get in trouble. So yeah, so I look at all these forms, documents, papers all day, and part of it is I will summarize them. And so if there's information missing from them, obviously that doesn't go in the summary. And I have no way of knowing if there is information missing. See, you just hand it to me, and then I go off of that. I liken it to back when I was in elementary school and high school, and a little bit of college for that matter, but mostly elementary school and high school, when pretty much every day of my life, I was told that when you hand in your homework or test or project or whatever, you hand it in and that's it. Your teacher is not gonna hound you for it to complete it or anything like that. And then they're gonna grade you based off of what you handed in. So the lesson there, of course, is supposed to be when you're an adult in the quote-unquote real world, when you hand shit in, that's it. You know, there's no going back to fix it. Your boss or whoever isn't going to chase you down to get added information or whatever. You know, you hand in what you hand in, there it is. But this is not how it works in my job, apparently. Or at least how it doesn't work for me specifically. I don't know for 100% certainty that the rules apply differently to me than it does for other people. But I have a strong feeling that's how it is. Again, cannot prove this, just a feeling. So yeah, so this stuff that's handed to me, often incomplete, and as such, I often have to chase people down for information. I shouldn't have to, but I do. And also, because of this lack of information, I will often get in trouble. Even though I am not the one who filled these forms out, but I will get in trouble for something not being there because reasons. I've never fully understood that. But yeah, it comes back on me. I don't believe it should, as it's not part of my job description or anything like that. Plus, even if it was, like I said, come on. Since I was 5, I've been taught, complete your homework. You know, answer every question that you can. Because if you don't, you're gonna be penalized for it. But here in the adult world, I understand life is not fair. nor will it ever be. That's not the thing I'm driving at here, although, you know, I admit it is part of it. But yeah, it just boggles my mind a little bit how that lesson eluded some people. You know, how they just get away with not finishing what they should. It's really annoying. And, you know, like I said, it comes back on me for whatever reason, and I'm the one who has to fix the mess. And my work and my day suffer because of it. So yeah, so that's just that quick little rant out of the way for work. Because like I said, I don't want to get too much into work just because I don't want to get myself or anyone in trouble who would possibly see this, even though that's never going to fucking happen. So yeah, so continuing the trend of shitty people though, I want to talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. So as of recording this right now, it is Tuesday, March 12th. And what broke today was apparently Johnny Depp has just been getting his teeth kicked in for about 2 years now for no reason. And I'll elaborate on that. So about 2 years ago, he and his then wife, actress Amber Heard, were divorced. And it came out that Amber Heard had been saying that Johnny Depp, for possibly years, I don't remember the exact details, it was 2 years ago, but for possibly years, had been physically and psychologically abusing her. That he was just this drunken monster who would come home and just berate her and abuse her, and that she was just living in a hell. And so she divorced him, and then I forget how much she initially sued him for, but I remember they settled for I think it was somewhere around like 10 million, something like that. I don't know, I'm not sure about that number, but I remember they settled. And yeah, and Johnny Depp suffered greatly for that. Not just the fact that, you know, he had been divorced and lost $10 million in that lawsuit, but even further beyond that, obviously his reputation took a huge hit. I mean, Johnny Depp, at least in my experience, was viewed as pretty much a monster. You know, it's like, oh, how could he abuse, you know, this innocent, beautiful young woman, Amber Heard? And so yeah, his reputation took the hit. He was fired off of multiple projects. I believe the major one, of course, Pirates of the Caribbean, which, as everyone knows, he was the star of and was carrying. So yeah, he lost that. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the second one, I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but I remember that seriously underperformed at the box office. Full disclosure, I didn't see it, so I don't know if the movie was actually good or not, but I'm 1,000% willing to wager that part of that underperformance at the box office was due to the fact that people were boycotting the film because he was in it. No doubt in my mind that there is a good chunk of people who didn't see that movie because Johnny Depp was in it. Cheers. So yeah, as I was saying, he took a big hit for that. Well, now, today, it comes out that, sorry, not even today, back up, a few days ago, I believe it was actually, it might have been a week ago or so now, Johnny Depp filed a defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard for $50 million. Obviously claiming that all that stuff she said about him was false, and it cost him, you know, X amount of dollars in, you know, job, revenue, blah, 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 blah. And I remember hearing about that, and I just kind of brushed it off. Because in my head, from everything I had read and been told, you know, it's like, oh, dude, it's like, yeah, you're just pissed off that you lost all that money because you beat your wife and you know, you lost out because of that. Boo-hoo, too bad for you. Well, turns out Johnny Depp had this absolute mountain of evidence that proves he never laid a hand on Amber Heard. I read through as much as I could today while I was at work, and I believe it told something around it was like 90 plus surveillance videos, audio recordings, pictures, police reports, and the most damning piece of evidence of all, a sworn statement from Amber Heard herself saying that she was never abused by Johnny Depp. That in fact, and this wasn't part of the statement, at least I would hope it wasn't, because this would just be literally hanging yourself, that Amber Heard was the one abusing him. It came out that Johnny Depp had apparently just, well, all this shit, all this spew and hatred was just flooded in his direction while he was just keeping quiet because he knew he was innocent and he was just taking the hits. And it turns out taking the hits literally and metaphorically, because like I said, it came out that she was abusing him. And there are these photos, and I saw there's a couple photos of Johnny Depp with just black eyes and bruised face because she would beat him and he wouldn't lay a hand on her. So he would just take the hits. Like the one story I remember that stood out was I believe it was back in 2016. It was her birthday, and it was late at night. He was in bed reading, and she came in possibly intoxicated. I don't remember if she was or not, to be fair, but she came into their bedroom and just started wailing on him. Just beat the crap out of him. And I was reading this and I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because this is a complete 180 from everything I had been told and everything I had believed. And it gets even better. Well, better, worse, however you want to look at it. But yeah, so she would beat him. And then there are stories that she threw a vodka bottle at him, like, and I guess I'm assuming he put his hand up to block, and it cut the top part of his middle finger on his right hand off. And there's a picture of it, and man, is that nasty. Like from about here up, gone. It's just blood and bone. And so he had to get that surgically reattached. And like to corroborate that, like the stuff I read, like they found a picture like shortly thereafter where Johnny Depp had gone to visit, I believe it was a children's hospital, in character as Jack Sparrow. And you can see on his hand the bandage and the stitching from getting his finger cut off. And looking at that photo initially, without knowing that at all, it looks like that is just part of the costume. Because if you've ever seen one of the Pirates movies, you know, he's a pirate, so, you know, it's like it's a bit rough. He's got like rough stitching and ugly tattoos, you know, because pirate, you know, poor teeth, all that, because, you know, life on the high seas, you don't exactly get the best medical care. So it looks like it's just part of the costume, like, you know, it's a crappy bandage or whatever on his hand. But like I said, knowing that, it completely fits. So yeah, so it turns out that it's now really, not 100%, because I guess we still got to go to court. We don't know, but still, it's really looking like Amber Heard is the monster here, and Johnny Depp was just the innocent guy who just took the hits because he didn't want to beat his wife or talk shit about her. And that is just incredible to me, that we can be told one thing for years and then in an instant shattered. And man, the ramifications this has on Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Like, a part of the thing I read, and I don't know if this is true or not, I guess this will come out in time, but one thing I read was that, like, the whole reason she lied about Johnny Depp being an abusive husband was to purposely, forward her career. So, you know, it would drum up sympathy for her. She was like the victim, you know, oh, woe is me, my husband beat me, give me an acting job. And B, so she could deliberately set herself up as a leader slash like front runner, whatever you want to call it, in the Me Too movement. Which I really hope that part isn't true, because that is just all kinds of fucked up and crazy. Like, so you want to become this voice for women who've been abused and mistreated by lying about being abused and mistreated yourself, which in turn will just do way more harm than good, because that's now going to discredit, well, not, I guess not discredit, it's going to cast doubt. That's what I should say. It's going to cast doubt on women who actually have legitimate, you know, like legitimate complaints or stories, or, you know, abuse, who've had real abuse enacted upon them. Because now you're gonna have to look again. And don't get me wrong, you should never trust anything really at face value to begin with, especially something that you just hear. But still, like, this just adds another hurdle, an unnecessary hurdle at that. Because clearly what this has taught us is that just because someone accuses something of someone doesn't make it true. Which, again, that just really, really sucks for anyone out there whose story is true. Because now they're going to be scrutinized even more and possibly not believed when they should be. But yeah, I mean, this news broke and I saw it and I could not believe that shit. That all these troubles that Johnny Depp has been going through for the past couple of years have been because of a bunch of bullshit. That sucks. And so yeah, I mean, granted, I wasn't on the, I wouldn't classify myself to have been on the, like, the fuck you Johnny Depp train, whereas, like, I would go out of my way to boycott his work or talk shit about him. But I was definitely on the, I guess, I don't know how to word this now that I said I wasn't on the fuck you train. But I wasn't on, like, the, okay, I got it. I wasn't on the fuck you train, but I was on the screw you train, which just isn't as bad. But still, like, I wouldn't go out of my way to, like, boycott Johnny Depp or tell people to boycott Johnny Depp or trash him or anything. But if within that time, if I had heard something bad was happening to Johnny Depp, I'd be like, well, screw that guy. You know, he has it coming. And I apologize to him for that. I apparently had him pegged all wrong. So I'm eating some humble pie here a little bit. I'm eating that crow. But yeah, like, and I don't understand why she would do that. I mean, so what, if he wasn't abusing you, so what was it in the relationship that made her lie to those lengths? Or was it possibly just career motivated? Was she just, like, not having the greatest of marriages for whatever reason? And she was just like, oh, how can I use this to my advantage? I'm gonna get a divorce anyway, so I might as well get a little something extra out of it. I know, I'll lie and say that my husband was abusing me for years, and that way I can get more sympathy out of it. I don't know if that's the case. It might be, but man, like I've said numerous times now, that is fucked up. And yeah, it's, so I really hope that Johnny Depp and his career just make a full recovery, because he is a phenomenal actor. Like, don't get me wrong, no one bats 1,000. He's had some bombs here and there, but overall, phenomenal actor. And I hope he just makes a full recovery, comes back, you know, full force. I don't know if he'll be back as Captain Jack Sparrow. Maybe. I don't know what Disney's whole plan with that is. Ever since they announced that they would be parting ways with him, I don't know if they've moved forward with like a reboot or recast or anything in that matter. So I don't know. Also, I don't know the number. I don't offhand know the box office numbers that the last Pirates of the Caribbean did. So I don't know if they even want to continue that franchise. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I again really hope Johnny Depp's career just makes a full recovery. As for Amber Heard's career, I hope she has to go through what he did. You know, justice. Give me an eye for an eye here a little bit. I know eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind and all that, but still, I think she deserves it. I think in this case, she deserves a taste of her own medicine. I believe that's the called for remedy here, where she has to sit there and be told she's a monster, which it's looking like she is, and just miss out on jobs because of it. And this really sucks on a more personal note for me, and this is completely stupid irrelevant, but it's just like another added little thing, was because Aquaman was a very good movie, at least in my opinion, which she was a part of. And so me, if you know anything about me, you know I'm DC over Marvel. I enjoy them both, but I prefer DC. It's where Batman and Superman live. But yeah, so Batman vs Superman was underperformed. People say it was trash, but it wasn't. It underperformed either way. And then Justice League got absolutely thrashed. So, you know, DC needed some goodwill, and Aquaman was that goodwill. Sorry, Aquaman was step 2 of that goodwill. Wonder Woman was step 1. Sorry, it's just that Wonder Woman came out before Justice League, so I guess the goodwill of Wonder Woman kind of got erased by Justice League, actually. But yeah, Wonder Woman was the first step in the correct direction, though. And Aquaman was the second step, and Aquaman was, I would arguably say, a bigger step, just because it was such a surprise. I remember watching the trailer for Wonder Woman and saying to myself, oh, this is going to be good. And Wonder Woman was good. In fact, it was probably better than I thought it would be. But I remember watching the trailer for Aquaman and saying to myself, oh, this is going to be shit. This is just going to give people more ammunition against DC. It's going to be another nail in the coffin after Justice League. Excuse me. But Aquaman was really good. It was very enjoyable. DC's highest grossing movie now, I believe, or second. I don't know. I don't remember if it beat Wonder Woman or not. But yeah, either way, it blew my expectations out of the water and did excellent at the box office. And she was a part of that. And so now I feel like a lot of that goodwill momentum has just been derailed, because now Queen Mira is a monster. So I don't know what DC, that's another thing. It's gonna be interesting to see what DC's gonna do. Like, does DC do they just recast? Do they just like keep pushing forward without Queen Mary? You know, just write her off? Like, you know, say everyone, like, kill her off camera, or just plain write her out and never address it? Or, I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna happen. But either way, that sucks. Like I said, just on a personal note, just because I want to see DC thrive. I want to see them do better. And she was a part of that. And that's just one more thing. Again, it's the least important thing that's affected by any of this, my enjoyment of movies. But still, it's just another little added twist of the knife. It's a fucking wreck. So yeah, Amber Heard monster, Johnny Depp, good guy. Continuing on the track of shitty people though, I want to next talk about the Russell Westbrook incident. So again, today, Tuesday, March, I keep forgetting what the fucking date is, March 12th. Yesterday, Monday, March 11th, Russell Westbrook, for those of you who may not know, is the starting point guard for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's an all-star. I believe he now holds the NBA record for most triple-doubles in a season. Phenomenal player. Absolutely phenomenal. Top 5 point guard in the league for sure. But so anyway, so yesterday, yeah, like I said, he plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yesterday, they were playing the Utah Jazz in Utah. And there was an incident, apparently, where Westbrook got into it with a fan. You know, because in the NBA, the way just seats are, you have the players have their folding chair seats, and they're on the sideline, you know, right there next to the court. And the stands are literally right behind them. Like, if needed, a player could reach back and just high-five a fan or, you know, punch them or whatever, which has been the case in the past, but no need to get into that. And so there was apparently a fan seated very close to the Oklahoma City Thunder bench, a Jazz fan, who was heckling Russell Westbrook throughout the game. And there's a video, and what happened yesterday was a video surfaced online, you know, someone around them videoed Russell Westbrook yelling at this fan to telling him to shut, hold on one second, yelling at this fan to shut the fuck up and sit down. And then I'm assuming that the fan responds to him, but we can't hear the fans in this video. We can't hear the fan's response. But he further gets into it and he yells at the fan, "I will fuck up you and your wife. Trust that." He reinforces that, like, "I will fuck up you and your wife." And it's just like, I saw that video and I was like, wow, Westbrook's gonna get in trouble for this. Like, it almost doesn't even matter what the fan said. Westbrook is going to get in trouble. Which he did. But apparently, and this is what came out today, apparently what this fan said was pretty shitty. And to go even further, it comes out that this fan is a shitty person. So Russell Westbrook was indeed fined. He was fined $25,000 for, you know, engaging with a fan, because it doesn't matter, you know, like what fans say to the players. The players are supposed to be, you know, professional and, you know, keep their cool and whatnot. So in that, and then he did threaten to kill him and his wife. So in that sense, Westbrook did fail, and he is fined and appropriately punished for it. But the fan received a lifetime ban from the Jazz, so he is no longer allowed at the stadium. I don't know if anything else is going to come from that. But yeah, so apparently it comes out what the fan was saying was just this nasty tirade of homophobic and racist bullshit towards Westbrook. And this is backed up by fellow Thunder teammates of Westbrook and apparently other fans seated around them. Because apparently the NBA launched their own investigation into what happened after, you know, this video of Westbrook threatening to kill a fan comes out. And it backs up what Westbrook was saying. Westbrook was saying that this fan was just hurling all these racial and homophobic insults at him, and that he just snapped and went off on the fan. Turns out it's true. And then, because the internet is what it is, people then look further into this and they find this guy's Twitter account. And here's where it gets really damning. So apparently this fan has a history of hating Russell Westbrook. And he has just multiple times tweeted all of these just hateful and spiteful things about Westbrook. Not the least of which was go back to where you came from. Which can only really, in my mind, be interpreted one way of go back to Africa because you're black. Now, you know what? Fuck it. I was gonna say, no, I can't confirm that this man is racist. Actually, yes, I fucking can, because he said that. I just had a second thought, man. Like, A, he said that, and then B, now, okay, this I will qualify. Not all people who support Donald Trump are racist. They're not. That's just a fact. They're not. But I find that racist people tend to support Donald Trump. Like, if you brought me someone who is a I don't know the way to say this besides confirmed racist, and these people do exist. I've thankfully never met one, but I'm willing to wager if I met someone who was racist and proud, and I asked them, do you support Donald Trump? I'm willing to wager that the answer would be yes. I don't know this for sure. It could entirely not be, but I'm gonna put my chips down on yes. And the reason I bring that up is because while this guy was tweeting these things at Russell Westbrook, he would often hashtag them MAGA, which is Make America Great Again, which is Donald Trump's slogan. So yeah, again, it's another case of you gotta look deeper. Because if you just watch the video that initially surfaced yesterday of Westbrook yelling at this fan, it seems like he's the bad guy. And oh, I'm sorry, I completely forgot to mention. So not only is there the video of Westbrook yelling at the fan, but then after the game, I guess it was local news or whoever approached the fan and interviewed them and asked them, like, hey, you know, what happened with Westbrook? And this guy says, he's like, oh, you know, like, it's just friendly heckling. You know, like, it was completely uncalled for the way he went off on me like that. You know, and he even tries to really place all the blame on Westbrook, saying that he had been taunting him the whole game, and that earlier, like, Westbrook was like, quote unquote, like in on the joke, like, oh, it's just a fan heckling. That Westbrook was laughing and smiling at him, you know, like, going back and forth. And the guy says, at no point did I shout any profanity, and it's completely uncalled for that he insulted my wife. My wife was just sitting there quietly. You know, it's her first NBA game, which that might be true. I don't know if the wife deserved any of that. I haven't heard or seen anything about if the wife was engaged in any of the taunting or anything like that. So it's entirely possible Westbrook did go too far with the wife. I mean, he went too far threatening to kill them to begin with. I mean, threaten an ass whooping, sure, but don't threaten to kill anyone, man. Tone it down a notch there. But yeah, it's entirely possible that he went too far bringing the wife into it in general. So yeah, so I mean, so there's those two videos. You have the video of Westbrook yelling, and then you get his side of the story where he's trying to play himself off. He's like, oh, it's just, you know, it's innocent heckling. You know, it happens at every sporting event. You know, it's like, I don't know why he snapped and went off on me like that. So again, it looked, as of yesterday, it looked really bad for Westbrook. But you dig a little deeper, and you find that this guy's a piece of shit. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand heckling. I heckle when I attend sporting events too. You know, I keep it clean because most likely there's gonna be someone sitting around me who, you know, is either a kid or, you know, just, I don't know this, but I always just have this feeling back in my head that, you know, someone who doesn't use foul language like I do. So whenever I do taunt at games, I keep it clean. Like, I don't make it personal about them or their families or anything like that. I don't swear. I keep it clean, but I do heckle. So it's not. I can't condone it for that. But again, there's a line that you shouldn't cross. Now the swearing, that's for each person to decide. Like, I can't fault him on swearing. I swear like a sailor in general. So hang on one second, gotta pull off a little, get by this car here. Okay. And so the swearing thing, I can't really fault him for that. But the racism and homophobia, that's the part where you're absolutely crossing the line. Like, that's absolutely several bridges too far. And so yeah, this guy's a piece of shit. You know, it's like Westbrook, again, as I said earlier, Westbrook as a professional shouldn't have reacted at all, and, you know, went too far threatening to kill them. But still, this guy absolutely pushed those buttons to warrant a response out of Westbrook. It's not, the response was absolutely warranted. Like, and you gotta remember, at the end of the day, Russell Westbrook is only human. So you can only push him so far before he's gonna get mad and snap at you. So I don't fault him at all for snapping. I completely understand it. Given what this person said to him, I completely understand it. And again, this wasn't apparently some random thing. This man has a history of specifically hatred towards Russell Westbrook, and it seems like it might be a hatred towards black people in general. I'm gonna say it is. I don't know 100% sure, but I'm gonna say it is. So yeah, moral of the story today, kids, don't be a shitty person. Don't lie about what other people are doing. And just don't be a dick in general. You know, just I can't think of anything better than one, so I'm just gonna go for it. Be nice and work hard. Those are great piece of advice that I'm stealing from Bernie Burns of Rooster Teeth. He said it on the podcast. He has on a shirt too. I own this shirt because I really like it. It looks cool anyways. But yeah, he's like, why? Because I forget what it was. There was an episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast where I forget what, again, it was a while ago now. I can't remember what they were talking about, but it was a similar situation in which, like, it was just, they were talking about just something shitty someone out there in the world had done. And I remember Bernie just like, he's speaking to Gus or Barbara Gav or whoever it is he's with, and he just says, why can't people just be nice and work hard? Like, just be nice and work hard. Is that so fucking complicated? Like, that's really all you gotta do. Because really, we're all just people trying to get through our day, you know? That's all. It's like, I'm just trying to get through my day as best as possible. You're just trying to get through your day as best as possible. Why we gotta drag everyone else down? You know, Amber Heard trying to drag Johnny Depp down for whatever fucking reason. You know, even if he was a shitty husband, like it seems that he never raised a hand to her, but you know, like, maybe he was like, wasn't the most attentive husband, you know, maybe he was forgetful or whatever. Like, maybe he wasn't perfect, but he didn't deserve that. You know, it's coming out that he absolutely didn't deserve that. And then this guy talking shit to Russell Westbrook to that degree, again, friendly heckling aside, Russell Westbrook did absolutely nothing to warrant that. You know, at least Amber Heard knew Johnny Depp. They were married. They knew each other. Russell Westbrook doesn't know this guy from me. You know, he's just another random ass fan in the stands and on Twitter tweeting shit about him. You know, all Russell Westbrook does is play basketball. He never did shit to this man. But yet he's just the target of this man's hatred. And I say hatred because it goes beyond, again, it goes beyond like the friendly sports rivalry and whatnot. Like when you get racial, when you get homophobic about it, like that's a level beyond. And he absolutely didn't deserve that. And yeah, that's gonna be my rant for the day. You know, like I said, just what happened with my day, just having a rough day, and just compounded with all the stuff I read on the internet today about Westbrook and Johnny Depp. You know, it just made me really like, it just made me really sit back and think like, man, it's like, why can't people just be better? And I'm not perfect, you know, I sure as shit ain't perfect, but man, I don't go out of my way to fuck with people, at least not to that degree. Like, god damn, they're out there trying to ruin people's lives. And you know, getting back on point here, yeah, you know, just going through all that, it just made me want to rant a little bit. So if you watched this, thank you for tolerating my rant. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little something. If nothing else, I hope you just walk away thinking, you know, like, you know what, I'm gonna try and be just a little better tomorrow. I know I am. I try and get better every day. I ain't great at it, but you know, just go home, pick myself up, and try again tomorrow. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. If you did indeed stay all the way through, appreciate it as always. You can find me on Twitter at KingFranchise88. Same with Instagram. And yeah, go ahead, give me a like, follow, and subscribe if you want to. So yeah, thanks again, and be better to each other. Peace.